supposed to stay to 22 was from my school also. And I know that I was told in regards to, well, at least my school, when I was at the SLT meeting, that there were not a lot of buses for the kids who stood to 22 years old. But like I told them, the district was handling it, that they had gotten erased out of the system because they were supposed to have graduated and they chose to stay an extra year. So they had gotten erased out the system by mistake, actually, because of that. But I know Kettler has spoke at oral general meeting about this council meeting, and he stated that they was taking care of the issue for that. I know in my school the issue has gotten better, but it's not completely fixed at my school. I don't know about everywhere else.
If our parents do hear of any other issues with children who are in need of busing, who are over the age of 21, I know a lot of principals are in the process of correcting that manually. So please do let our council know, let the busing committee know, and we will try to assist you as best as we can. The last issue before we go, last topic before we go into any additional questions that parents may have. In our last meeting, Co-President Daniels, parents wanted to know about Medicaid transportation and medical answering service. Did you want to go over that briefly so that those who may not know what is available, they can? Okay, one moment.
I'll go over that. So what I was talking about at my last busing committee meeting when I did this in August, a lot of parents don't know about medical transportation. And that's through the MAS people called Medical Answering Service. That's the agency where the transportation gets approved. Let me just read to you what the medical transportation program is. The Medicaid transportation program ensures Medicaid members can get to and from their medical appointments at no cost to them. Non-emergency transportation such as pre-scheduled trips to primary care and to the dentist are provided. So basically any kind of doctor you see, they provide you with this medical transportation. Eligibility though, to be eligible, you must fill out a medical justification form and have your medical practitioner complete the MAS transportation application. Your care coordinator, if you have one, can assist with this step as well if you have a care coordinator. If it's not for yourself, it could even be for your child. But anybody could get medical transportation. Basically, if you have Medicaid and you have to go to multiple appointments, to take care of your health, which that's something good that we all should do. Yes, Miss Andrea, it's called an MAS 2015 form. That is the actual name of the form. Miss Andrea is correct, Belinda Barnett Andrea. She said she has that. I have medical transportation myself. For myself and for my daughter, we have it separately. Well, of course, my daughter had it first. But then I ended up getting it for me when I had to go to occupational therapy back when I had my surgery for carpal tunnel in both of my hands about 2 years ago. So now I got medical transportation too, and it has to be renewed every year. That's the other thing. Every year it has to be renewed once a year by your doctor. And you could choose whatever vendor you want as long as that person accepts medical transportation. Because not everybody might accept that, but a lot of vendors do accept medical transportation, Medicaid transportation. And I just think that we all need that. If we have, for those who have Medicaid, I think everyone should try their best to apply. Because one day we may not have the service no more, like a lot of things, if you don't use it or a lot of people don't use it or apply. then this service may be lost one day. And we don't want that when people could use it, especially the students and parents within our community in District 75.
Thank
You need
you.
a letter of medical necessity, a LMN, a letter of medical necessity, a written explanation from a treating physician that describes the medical need for services, equipment or supplies, a nurse practitioner, a psychiatrist, psychologist, occupational therapy. As I just said, that's when I had got mine, when I went to occupational therapy and physical therapy for myself, in my case. And or a chiropractor may also write a valid LMN. So you have to have some type of you know, kind of like a need for it. Like if you see a psychiatrist, you see a social worker, you see a PCP, you see nurse practitioner, occupational therapy, which a lot of our parents probably do go to this, or physical therapy and chiropractor, because we start having things wrong with our bones. Like Miss Andrea said, she has like 2 fractures right now. I have a fracture myself. My nose is fractured. That's why I'm not on camera tonight, because I'm healing from that. I have a fractured nose right now. So that's what's going on with me. But I really think that we need to all try to apply for that medical transportation. If you have access to ride, okay, we could talk about access to ride too, because I know about that too, Miss Andrea. Miss Andrea, hold on. We have a parent by the name of Miss Andrea. She has my name too. So, Belinda Barnett Andrea. She says, let me read the chat. There's a couple of things in chat. So MAS form has to be done annually, which I stated. The name of the form is MAS 2015 form. And she said she has that, Miss Belinda Barnett Andrea. She says she used a Gate vendor, many to choose from. That's the vendor she uses, called a Gate. She said she requests a large cab when needed. My son is tall and large. Yes, you could also request a certain size car. That is correct. Health First gives you 28 rides a year. So that's something I did not know. So that's new information to me about the Health First part. So thank you for that, Miss Belinda Barnett Andrea. And the last thing she said was access a ride, gives a Metro card for the child and the parent for the bus and train. Yeah, I believe now that's the Honor Me card now. Or it will transform into the Honor Me card, which is another problem we've been having in our school system, even though it's not on the agenda. I know a lot of parents was complaining about the Honor Me card, the student card, that a lot of kids did not get it yet. And even when they got it, some of them already lost it. Also, it's made really cheap, like it's paper thin, and it could get destroyed easily if it's not laminated, I was told. A lot of students probably still didn't get the Honor Me card. But I know one thing, there is a petition also going around about the Honor Me card, because they feel that all the kids with special needs, because all the children mostly ride the school bus or ride share also in some cases, that we're not eligible for that our kids are not eligible for the Metro card, even though that Metro card is for, apparently is for the whole entire year, with 4 rides a day, 365 days a year, and it covers like the whole year. Like even if your child is not in summer school, it would still cover them. Like how is that fair to everyone else who can't get the card? And their child rides a bus, because everybody child is not travel trained. And even if they are travel trained, everybody lives in, for different distances from the school. Some people take 2, 3 buses to get to school, trains or whatever. It's not always one bus or train, depending on where the child or student live at. So that's another thing. So the Honor Me card is going to, the situation is going to be an ongoing problem just kind of like the ride share and the reimbursement that a lot of people did not receive. I know also there will be after school programs this year, and I already being told there will not be no busing for after school programs again, probably due to contract issues, I guess, again, with the bus companies or whatever is going on. But there will be no after school busing, even for after school programs. I found that out, and I've been dealing with that myself firsthand for the last 2 years, where I've been taking my child back and picking her up from after school and actually taking an Uber or a train or a bus, depending on what type of money I had at the time, to get her home from the school because there was no busing for after school program. However, she still wanted to attend. So I didn't want to hinder her from attending. So I still took her to the after school program for 2 years on my own dime. I never got reimbursed either for that. None of us got reimbursed who may have done that as well. And that's a different type of reimbursement than the total reimbursement for not having a bus and using rideshare, which is something slightly different. Yes, I would take your hand is up, Sasha Amory, I think it is. If I'm saying that.
Yes, Sacha Amri. So I
Okay.
was invited to this committee. I went to the Welcome Back District 75 event in the Bronx, and I was speaking with a couple of your members, and they invited me here to discuss a little bit about after school busing. I know there was a conversation with Kettler last week, and I think that's what you were speaking of, right, Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Yeah. And so I'm here representing AHRC New York City along with Kate Hoy. I'm the director for camping and recreation programs, and we had about 8 after school programs that we literally had to shut down because of OPT, that they're not providing transportation. And Kate and I, along with a couple of our colleagues in the agency, Kate was able to get in contact with the controller's office. And Kate, correct me if I'm wrong and interject if you like. We're planning to meet with the controller's office, and some of the reasons of after school busing is not what it seems, I guess. So I think there's a leeway in which we can, get that back. I mentioned that we have 8 after school programs just at AHRC alone. That affected hundreds of families when we closed down. One of my former colleagues that I used to work at ADAPT Community Network, they also had 5 after school programs that they had to shut down because of OPT. So, this is like hundreds and hundreds of families that's been affected. And we plan on speaking at the city council as well on, what are the next steps and how can they support us as well. Kay, would you mind kind of sharing a little bit about the plans with the controller?
Yeah, if it's okay. And I think one of our questions also today is, could we put it on the agenda for another meeting if you council chairs are interested? Because my program is funded by OPWDD. I'm an education advocate, and I work with families. Majority are District 75 families who have been going through what Ms. Daniels was describing, and so many of you have experienced in terms of inequity with after school transportation that Sasha was meaning, just to watch these programs close and to see the opportunities for youth with disabilities disappear is it's happening not because you're doing tremendous work to continue to uplift the issue, but we just wonder how we can help. So we're gonna talk to the comptroller's office. We don't know yet. We know it's not in their minds, right? It's not. Kettler knows you've been raising the issue. We want to join with you in that, just to try to restore some of the funding or put more pressure on the DOE to fund the programs, because we understand it's not the union, it's the vendors and OPT and the busing that went away after COVID. But these programs have had to close because there was no transportation. So and we understand it's not on the agenda. We are gonna talk to the comptroller's office and let them know about some of the the lack of after-school options because of the busing. And then the city council hearing is on Monday for testimony on pupil transportation. If anyone here is interested or planning to do that, we look forward to seeing you there. We just want to let you know we're there in solidarity with you, but youth with disabilities are just being sorely underserved, and the DOE, anyway, it's all due to transportation. Sorry, I know it's not on the agenda, but if we could.
I agree
Oh,
with
no,
you. I
yeah,
agree
yeah,
with
really.
you. And it's sad that the programs had to suffer because of this, because there's good programs out there, including your organization. Yeah, even the program Jada was in, even though it was in her school building, I still had to pick her up, take her, on my own budget home and stuff. It was a lot. And that's why the attendance was very low. Like, even when the program is not closed, the attendance is going to be low. That's why, because of busing.
Absolutely.
Like a busing. Yeah, we need to really fight together to try to put that into the controller's mind. I think we said the controller mind, to try to see what we could do about this busing situation.
I think first things first, the city council, talking to Rita Joseph and to members of the committee, if you can't attend on Monday, which is understandable, you can submit testimony up to 72 hours after, and just let them know what it's been like for your family, that it's an issue, at least to put it, in their ears that youth with disabilities are being isolated, totally isolated. Thank you. I'm going to stop talking. And I know it's a parent support meeting too, so that's more important than everything, but this is something these programs are closing, and once they close, it's really hard to get them back, even though people like Satya, I think, could do it just through sheer force of will. But we were talking earlier today, we can get funding. We'll go to city council to reopen the programs. But as you said, you just have to have transportation. Students need to be able to get to program and then home again, because parents can't do all that. Students without disabilities get it. Our students need it too.
Yeah, I think that's a big.
I agree. So I may not be able to make the meeting on Monday because I have a fractured nose, but I could write a testimony, because I do sometimes go to public hearings for different stuff. So I could definitely write a testimony or something and speak about that part also, and how we lost programs because of lack of after-school busing. In addition to the other busing issues we already have, that was the newest one the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. I'm just gonna post my email onto the chat.
Great,
So if
great.
you have,
Please do.
if families have any testimonials, and so that way we could share it with, when we do meet the controls office. And if you could share it with, other members who's not here, so that way I could collate them and share it with both the controls office and the city council when we do meet with them as well.
And we've also placed the link to have information for that city council meeting that'll be coming up in the chat as well. Thank you guys for your continued partnership and for your advocacy as we all work to help parents with this transportation and busing and these different systems and things that are going on that we lack support in. So we're grateful that we do have, partnership with our community-based organizations and such. So thank you so much again for both of you being here.
Yeah, thank you for inviting
me.
me. And
AHRC in particular, because you're one of the reasons why I knew how to do my guardianship papers for my daughter. Because you used to do the training in the 811 school with my parent coordinator, Miss Miriam Luciano. Yeah, between her and you guys, I got through guardianship with no problem, even through COVID.
Well, while we're taking this quick break, let's check in with our interpreters in the Spanish and Mandarin rooms to see if we have any parents who have feedback and or questions. Do we have any questions on the Mandarin or Spanish lines?
I don't hear any questions from the Mandarin line.
Do we have any questions on the Spanish line? If not, Co-President Daniels, you may move the meeting forward for any other questions under busing.
I just read in the chat that one of the parents said they need help with guardianship. So you could reach out to me personally because I know about that. Since I've been through that process. So my email, in addition to the council email address, is DanielsAndrea3. Just write the email down. I also put in the chat for anyone else who need it. DanielsAndrea3@gmail.com. And then for the council is D75council@schools.nyc.gov. Yes, Doreen Wise. I see your hand up. Go ahead. Doreen?
Good evening.
Good evening,
Yes, hello?
Doreen. Yeah, I
Good
hear
evening.
you.
All right, I had a question about the classes that was being given to the drivers and the matrons, and I just want to know how effective are these classes? Because I've been having fairly good experiences with the buses, but sometimes in this quarter, the matron, with the attitudes and stuff like that. So I just want to know the effectiveness of these meetings, and is it follow-up meetings, and like what to do when you run across something like that.
I don't really have the answer to that question. Christy Angel, do you know the answer to that question?
I'm sorry, I heard part. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking with my son. He's a little hurt. Sorry. Did the mom say that when you're having disrespectful matrons and things of that nature, what do you do in that regard?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And because I know they've been giving courses like, what is the follow-up with that? I know they're giving courses, and I just want to know how far they got with that. Because I know in my job, we have culture and sensitivity courses, and I want to know if they have those type of classes, because I just feel like some of them look very frustrated with, our kids, and, I can see it on their face. I say good morning, they don't say good morning back, and it just looks like, they're aggravated or they're just frustrated. So maybe some more special training or classes for, because everybody don't know how to deal with special needs kids. And, the first reaction may be to get annoyed or aggravated, even though it's their job. But I'm seeing that a lot.
When it gets to spaces that are disrespectful and make you feel like it's in a violation of your child, you absolutely should report that to OPT. You should email the council and give us the information and violation number as well, so that we can stand in advocacy with you. Sometimes some people need to be moved around, move a different matron, move a different route. Or some people just need to be spoken with to understand that they're moving in a space that is extremely uncomfortable for our children and our parents. But whatever that may look like, at any point, you should always file the violation. Because they will trickle that down to the busing company, and then more can be done after that point. But you should never not report what's happening on the bus.
Okay, yeah, because I just wanted to know, and it's tied from that too, because I'm very verbal when it comes to that. I will say something to the company, to them personally too, not to be confrontational, but I have said something, to them in the past as well. But I've been hearing that they're taking courses, so how effective, because I've only been in this particular school for a year, how effective are the courses? Because I never even knew they were taking courses. How is there like special training for these? And if it's not, how can we move to get the special training for these matrons and bus drivers?
I can tell you, in all honesty, I myself am not very versed in the trainings that they may have, but we definitely find out from the district what is going on with OPT, what these trainings look like. If there's any data on whether it's making any level of improvement, if it's very new, there may not be any, data or background on it. However, we can find out who's using it, what's going on, what type of classes are they taking in sensitivity training, and if not, we definitely can raise our voices so that that can be something that we're saying we need to push this with our buses, with our bus companies, so that our children can be transported to school safely and with respect.
I agree. Yeah. And I would like to, when that is coming about, I would like to be, I can speak up for that as well. Because, sometimes in the past they have left, they've there for a minute or so. And sometimes we have, issues going on with our kids. They might throw themselves on the floor, throwing a tantrum, whatever. And they just very dismissive, and I just really feel like the special training is needed. So, moving forward, I would definitely like to be a part of that. Because that has to change.
Would you,
Absolutely.
we
Agree
would
with
love
you.
that, yes. Sorry, Co-President Daniels, I don't mean to overstep you. Could you please put your information in the chat so that we can continue to move in advocacy with you?
Okay, sure. Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
We have the Spanish interpreter's hand up. I think there's a question.
Yeah, just a question. The mom is saying, a mom from Q750 is stating that teach how to change the address from the because originally where her address was inputted wrong, and now she has to take the student 15 minutes walking. So she needs to know how is the way to correct the address.
Has she spoken to her school liaison for travel? If not, I can tell you what we can do. We'll just take it from the space of bringing it to the council. Could you ask mom to email the council at d75council@schools.nyc.gov? I'll put it back in the chat. And then we can have a direct call with her and see what we can do to go ahead and push this forward to OPT or support on the school level to make her whole and close out that issue. This is something that should be able to be fixed expeditiously.
I believe the school has to change the address through the NICSA system or something like that. Far as I remember, because I had to change my address before too when I moved in the NICSA account.
We can work with you on tomorrow to make sure that whatever steps need to be done that are not done can be done by end of day tomorrow for you. It should be a quick fix to fix the address. So if you stay in touch with us, we'll make sure to reach out to your schools with you and with OPT to make sure that this is accomplished for you. Did you mention there was a Spanish interpreter's hand up, Co-President?
That was the one,
Yes,
the one that you spoke to.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm gonna put it up.
That was all?
Miss Doreen Wise. Are
Her
you
hand
able
was
to
up
unmute?
before unless she raised it again.
I'm sorry, I forgot to take it down. I'm sorry.
Okay,
It's
no
okay.
worries.
Thank you, Andrea.
You're welcome.
Do we have any additional questions or
It's in the
concerns?
chat, some questions and comments, and I see one hand up. JUDH Grand Champs is their name?
Yeah, that's Jude Grand Champs.
I'm sorry, Jude Grand Champs.
One of the issues another issue that's coming up on the bus routes is they have big buses picking up kids when they should be having small buses picking them up.
Yes, that's definitely OPT issue, and it's coded for the minibus on the IEP.
Correct.
If
But
you could, but a big bus is
shows up.
picking them up, then we've had that happen before, and we absolutely can assist with that. If you email the council, we would need the student's OSIS number, and then we can move that over to OPT to try to get the student changed over to the appropriate bus.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
Michelle has her hand up. Michelle?
Hi, how are you? I have a question regarding my son's bus service. He's in P23, so he's in first grade, and he's assigned to be picked up in the morning, but the bus never shows up or doesn't call. And we've opened tickets with OPT and everything.
So two things. I would say, as I've said with the other people and parents on the call, email the council and send us every single violation number that you have. That's very important, so that when we uplift the issue to OPT, we can say how many times the parents have called, what has been the issues, and expedite the fact that we need this fixed now. And normally they do move pretty quickly. So if you let us know tonight, I can send out a couple of emails on your behalf. If we do have, if you could send the OSIS number and the information and the complaint numbers, I'll go ahead and either try to get that out tomorrow, or Co-President Daniels can help me get that out tomorrow, so we can get that ball moving for you, for your son.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
More than welcome.
I don't see no more hands up, but there's some stuff in the chat, so I'm just gonna read it. I think it's Mr. or Mrs. George Cruz. It says they're putting too many routes in OneDriver and Matrix, which is true, because I know my daughter on bus has 2 routes alone. We have high school with elementary school on one route on a mini bus, in my case. And they was getting the kids to school late for like a week and a half. But they was picking them up on time in the morning, and then now they dropping them late in the afternoon. That's what's happening currently in my situation anyway. But the rest of the comments in the chat. Someone says, hi, my son is getting home late from school. Says there's like 26 or more students on his bus route. And then she says, thanks. Adriana was her name. And then we hearing from the other parent again, kid with IEP spending too much time traveling. So even though the kid with the IEP is spending too much time traveling, first off, make sure your IEP says limited time travel on it. And if it does, and they're not abiding by that rule, because I have that for my daughter's IEP, then please don't hesitate to make a report and get your complaint number on that when it comes to that one. The next one, Blue Card needs to be updated with parent coordinator. All right, we just put the council email in the chat again, d75council@schools.nyc.gov.
Did you say the blue card, Co-President Daniels?
Somebody said the blue card needs to be updated with the parent coordinator. That was a comment.
The blue card can actually, it lives digitally on NYCSA, the New York City student account. And you can change and update anything that you would normally put on the blue card on NYCSA, and it'll automatically be in the school system digitally. Does everyone in the chat have a New York City student account? Are you familiar with the account? If we have
Does
no,
everyone have NYCSA that's on the meeting today?
okay. Perfect. That is a great place for you to go. It's a one-stop shop, especially for busing and transportation. If you do not have the NYCSA account, I will put the information for the website into the chat. This is something that you will need to talk to your parent coordinator about. There's a specific code that you need to get from your parent coordinator in order to finish setting up your NYCSA account, but you can start the process. And once you're set up, everything from their class schedules to their attendance to even voting for your citywide education councils and your community education councils, everything that you'll want to be a part of and know about your student is attached to your NYCSA account.
So the next comment, Doreen Wise had put her information in the chat. So we'll reach out to her in regard to the busing issues is sensitive and special training for drivers and matrons. We'll reach out to you, Doreen. Thank you. Belinda Barnett Andrea, she said that's true. It's going to be getting dark soon, daylight savings time. The guy that just spoke, he had asked, what does OASIS stand for? Christy Angel already put that in the chat. New York City DOE OASIS number is a 9-digit number that is issued to all students who attend a New York City public school. The number can be found on your student's ID card or transcript. Another thing, this is another comment, another thing is big buses are too noisy compared to the small buses. Last year, my son with autism is very sensitive. I had to put headphones for noise control. With too many kids in one more than 20, he gets home exhausted. And then overcrowding is a big issue. My son is supposed to be on a limited time run. So I already assume you have that in your IEP. So if they're not giving you abiding by that, Miss Belinda Barnett Andrea, you have to report that. And she says
we're definitely working with Miss Andrea in regard to Frankie. So we have her back 1,000% on this.
You wrote in the chat. Yeah, I know we do. And then she wrote, yes, it's a headache. And then another parent agreed with her. And then Doreen said, thank you for what I said about we're going to get back to her. And then Christy Angel placed the link about the school NICSA account. It's in the chat for those who don't have a NICSA. That's how you get to learn about it and apply. But I think the first time you apply, I believe you will need some special code from your parent coordinator at first, if you're new to applying to NICSA. But if you have to just change something, you should be able to change it already if you previously have a NICSA account already active. All right, let me see, anybody got their hands up? Anybody else? Hold on. Okay, I see another thing. Let me read this. Hello, hello, my son arrives very late in the afternoon and in the morning too. It is 2 hours of each trip in the morning. So she's saying 2 hours there, 2 hours back. That probably a total of 4 hours she's trying to say. In the morning and afternoon. It is because in the bus, they have 4 school routes. So her bus has 4 school routes because he's on a big bus. I know even with the little buses, we have at least, my daughter has 2. 4 routes must be worse than what I'm going through. That's for sure.
If you can email the council at d75council@schools.nyc.gov, we can make sure to add you to our list of people from this meeting that we are going to follow up with as of tomorrow. Co-President Daniels, I do see we have a Spanish interpreter with their hand raised as well.
All right, let me just finish reading this and then we're gonna read their question next because it's still long. So let me just start over. Hello, my son arrives very late in the afternoon and in the morning too. It is 2 hours of each trip in the morning and afternoon. It is because in the bus, they have 4 school routes. Now he's on a big bus and he is supposed to go in the small bus. He is 6 years old and has an IEP. He has autism. Today in the morning, he was there for 3 hours and 43 minutes. Wow. And I know this because he has a tracking. I called OPT and made a complaint. They gave me the incident number. She placed the incident number in the chat in this case, Christy Angel.
Yes, I would also need the students. We don't want to give any personal information away in the chat. So
But
mom would
she placed that in the chat and that's one of her information already.
Correct. We would need the student's OSIS number in addition to the violation numbers to be able to push that forward. So we don't want to put that necessarily in the chat. So if you could email us, we absolutely will push this forward because that's ridiculous for a child to be on a bus that long. And you only have 1 violation number so far?
Well, she put 1 there.
Okay, all right. We'll follow up. We'll follow up with her. I'll save the chat and then we can go back through it
all right, the
on tomorrow.
Had a question. You said?
Yes, Maricela, do you have a question?
Yes. I will have a parent in the line. She's saying that her kid is a first grader and that one of the I don't know if the drivers or the assistant didn't want to take the kid because the student was crying and they didn't take her. They didn't take her on the bus. They refused to take her because this
Because-
happened.
What? Because the child was crying?
Because
Yes.
the child was crying, you said?
Yes, that's what the mom stated.
Did
That
mom,
they didn't take
did
her.
mom file a violation?
She filed a report? They're not supposed to do that. Not because child crying. Some of the kids are little, some of them do cry, especially the young ones.
I think she's asking mom.
Yeah, yes, I'm asking mom. Okay, so mom said it was this Friday that passed by. She tried to communicate with the school, but I'm not sure if the school was able to understand her. What was she trying to say? Maybe it was due to the barrier or that she speaks Spanish. But she told the school that she wasn't able to take the kid to school because the driver let me ask her if it was the driver or the assistant told her that. Okay, so mom is saying that. So mom is saying both the driver and the assistant told her that no, they're not gonna take a crying child and then to go for the parent to go drop her off to school.
They was not supposed to tell her that, so tell her definitely keep making her complaints. And she got to take that up with the bus company and the school.
And please email the council so that we can stand in support as these things are happening. Additionally, what I wanted to say, for any parent where English is not your first language, there should always be equity in language for mom. If she calls to the school and someone does not understand her, she has the right to request an interpreter. So we want to make sure that she has that for her school as she moves forward and that she has language equity in addition to the support that she needs for busing.
Yeah, because sometimes the language barrier is the case too. And then they try to just push them away, and that's not cool.
Also, our co-chair for the busing committee does speak Spanish. So we do have a extra space to continue to support mom post-meeting.
Okay. Are you able to give my colleague Nancy Hernandez access to so she can unmute herself in case we have any more questions for Spanish?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ms. Schneider?
Joanne?
Yes, hi, thanks so much. I have used the NYC Schools account in the past, but my son now goes to the Carafin School. It's a state-funded private school, and I lost access to the account. I reset my password, and now they're asking me to add him again as a student, and they're asking for an account creation code. Can I still get that from Carafin School, even though it's a private school? Like, how do I get this account creation code again?
We can uplift that to the district. If your child isn't in a specific school, there's definitely a way to get another account creation code, and we can figure out what that looks like for you so that you don't have to be stuck in a space of needing a code. I'm not sure if we may have to double back, but we can definitely move that up to the family support coordinator with District 75 to make sure that you have what you need to get access. If you could email us with the council to just let us know and flag us that you're the person that needs the assistance with NICSA and changing the aspects and getting the code from the district.
Okay, great. And it's D75council@schools.nyc.gov?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. Do we have any additional questions before we move on to our parent support space? I know that you guys have a long day ahead of you and have had a long day already, so we won't take a lot of your time. But what we will do is move into just information about what we are going to be doing moving forward. We figured as we see a lot of parents are in need, they're in isolation, or they're just struggling in different ways. And we want you to know that you have community, that you are not alone, and that you have a space where you can be seen, be heard, and be connected with whatever level of resource that you need. So the CCD 75 support group is going to focus on coping strategies, talking with you guys about challenges that you have, resources that you need in self-care. We will have different licensed social workers and different community-based organizations that'll be coming in and facilitating some of these meetings. And so tonight, what I wanted to do, just to kind of have as an icebreaker, if any parents wanted to talk about what's been your biggest challenge for you recently so far. Is it busing? Is it issues within the school? Is it something that may be just stressing you as a regular person? You know, we all are parents, and sometimes we are very stressed out. Our children could be in crisis. That puts us in crisis. And you may need some levels of support or someone to talk to. So I guess I could lead the challenge. I could say my son recently got hurt in school, and now I'm home doing an extra level of care. And sometimes we know when you already have a heavy workload and you have a little bit more to do, we do love our babies and we love our children, and it's a little bit harder to.
Co-President Christie, before we continue, this portion of the meeting, should it not be recorded? Because it's recording.
Yeah, we can turn the recording off.
This
Sure.
one is support group. I think it should not be recorded.
All righty. So we're going to start.